whatever was meant for them for that day would be filled into their bowl. And she said she realized that that was a part of what she needed to do in life. Sue says, like the monk going out with his empty bowl, I set out every day to see what each day offered. And I began to notice, the way an observer might, that what I was doing, all my thoughts, feelings, and experiences, were connected to the notion of everyday sacred. So she says she looked up the word sacred in the dictionary and found entitled to reverence. And close by in the dictionary was the word sacrament, as in a practice that is considered especially sacred as a sign or a symbol of deeper reality. So ponder with me the idea that being empty is a kind of sacrament. But being empty physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually is hard. Really hard. I mean, the monks must know something that I don't. And here's what I mean. My friend Anna owns an organizing service. And she helps people sort through the stuff in their lives. And then arranges to have it hauled off or whatever the folks want to do. And over the time that she has owned this business, we've talked, she and I, a lot about what it means to sort through and release stuff. What does that really mean in our lives? And so ask yourself this question. What do you really need? What do you really need? What do you really want? Why do we hold on to objects that I no longer value? I'm asking me this question and I'm asking you. Why do we do that? So ultimately, for me, the true question is, what really matters? What really matters in my life? And here, of course, I'm not talking about objects or things, but emotions, experiences, relationships, intangibles that can't be bought or touched. And while it's sometimes comforting to have a physical representation of those emotions, it's not really necessary. It's about what we choose. And even when we choose to let something go, to become more empty, letting go can be really hard. I bet most of us in this room have at some time in our lives felt like, I don't know, all the emotions of letting something go. And I bet you all do this too. I often pray, and I'm going to talk about this later when we talk about the moon, about releasing that which is not for my higher good, or this or something better. How many of us have said those words? Right? Lots of us, right? We do. What do we mean about those comments, really? How do I know what's for my highest good? What's really, what it might be like to be truly better? I don't know. That's where faith and trust come in. So in my office at home, which is this tiny little room, on my desk is this little basket that was woven for me by my sweet friend Granny Jean, the basket weaver and the palm reader. And in that basket it's got, pens and scissors and my mama's bookmark and staples, I don't know, stuff. And I'm getting ready to start a new writing project. And so I really wanted to clear off my space and my desk and have it clean and start again. And that idea comes from Sue Bender as well. And as I let things go and move out of that office, that was the one thing that wasn't going to move. That space of Granny Jean in that basket in my office needed to stay no matter what. I continue to need that representation. So here's what I'm asking you to consider. Take stock. Really take stock. Deeply examine what you really value, what brings you joy and functionality in your life, and ask yourself What brings meaning to your life? What enhances your mind-body-spirit balance? Toss out the unnecessary, the clutter, and the might need it. I can tell you a story about my daddy at Hardy's Cups, but I won't. Because it's a thing. Give yourself room to stretch and breathe. Give yourself space to be empty. And to have fun with that. Don't overthink it. Don't go nuts with it. Just try it. Just try being empty. And for more than 3 years now, that word, empty, has been my greatest teacher. Here's what I mean. I could talk to you all forever about walking a labyrinth. That is one of the most deeply personal spiritual things that I do, is walk a labyrinth. When I travel, I'm going someplace new, that's the first thing I do. Is there a labyrinth I can walk to begin a journey or a pilgrimage? My home labyrinth, as I call it, here in Wilmington, is the labyrinth that is etched on the sanctuary floor at the Church of the Servant on Oriole Drive. There are other labyrinths, and I brought a list with me of labyrinths in Wilmington in case you wanted to know what some of those were. But the labyrinth at the Church of the Servant is my home labyrinth. But every year on New Year's Eve for some years now, I have contemplated my word for the year, what's going to be my guiding word for each year. So every year, I go to the Church of the Servant and meditate and do all the preparation you do before you step onto a labyrinth. And I ask for clarity about what my word for the year might be. And so this December 31st, I did that ritual again. And I had a list of words in my head that I thought might be what I would be working with this year. And I took that first step onto the labyrinth. And this voice in my head said, empty. And I said, again? Still? What is up with me in this lesson and this word? Right? That's what I really needed to know. So I took a deep breath and I said, okay, I'll live with this, and we'll go to the middle of the, that was nice, Harry Potter. I don't know who that was, but that was fun. Okay. So as I walk into the center of the labyrinth, I'm letting that word simmer as I go. And I get into the center and to meditate. And I get some clarity about why this word again this year. And for me, it really is about a willingness to accept what is, a willingness to search for the gift of knowledge, to be more understanding, to grow, a willingness to live with ambiguity. Oh, yeah, that's real hard. You too. To be empty is to trust, to be willing to wait, to know that there is a process for divine timing. So being empty gives us an opportunity to pause, to just be still a minute, to explore how we might learn from those we thought we were going to teach. Boy, has that been a lesson for me. To breathe in curiosity about the world around us, to consider ideas and emotions that are new to us or that we've long forgotten. So last spring, I don't remember, it was still chilly, March maybe, I was invited to come along and take a tour on the Wilmington in Color bus through the north side of town. If you all have not done that, I am a walking advertisement for that experience. I can't tell you what a great thing that is to do. To do that with Cedric Harrison. But I was invited to be on that tour to write an article about that experience for Encore magazine. And that's an area of Wilmington that is rapidly becoming gentrified and modernized and changed dramatically. What I see, or what I thought I would see in taking that tour, was the area of town in which my father grew up, in a time when it was really a poor area, and my daddy sold peanuts to the people at the museum, at the train tracks. That's what I thought would happen. Part of what is happening over there, in addition to the gentrification, is an effort to preserve the important historical locations in that neighborhood and to continue to commemorate some horrible things that happened over there. And there were moments on that tour that brought me to tears. I learned so much, y'all. I was filled with anger and sadness and joy and some hope. And I am grateful to have had within me on that day of learning and experiencing a part of Wilmington that I had seen in a very different way over the years, to have an empty space inside of me that needed to be filled with emotions and with a call to action. And so when I wrote that article for Encore magazine, it gave me the impetus to continue to write about, as I have now for a couple of years, about climate change and gentrification and social justice. But before I could be filled with the impetus to write what I had experienced, I had to first be empty. That had to come first. So now, even in the years that I taught at the university and now when I'm teaching a workshop, I say to the participants in my courses, I will only promise you one thing. So I won't promise you to learn anything, I won't promise you any of that stuff. I will promise you that we will learn together and I will learn something new from you. And that's really my approach to the work that I do, is that we're all on this journey of emptiness together and that we experience that emptiness so that we can then be filled with whatever we're supposed to be learning. So what do you want to learn? What is your deepest longing? Don't have to ask her out loud, but really think about this. I wasn't waiting for an answer. What is your deepest longing? Envision, if you would with me, a container, a bowl, an empty bowl that metaphorically holds your innermost desires. What does that bowl look like? So during the pandemic, my wonderful friend Guinevere Roller at Old Books on Front Street threw a book through my car window at me because I called her up and said, Sue Monk Kid has a new book and I have to have it, but I can't come in the store to buy it. She said, come by here, I'll throw it at you. And she did. We did that through the whole pandemic. Good Lord, I can't say enough about how much I love bookstore owner friends. But anyway, the name of the book, don't confuse Sue Bender, who I've been talking about, and Sue Monk Kid, who I'm talking about now. They're two different people. They're amazing, both of them. But Sue Monk Kid's book, the one through the window, is called The Book of Longings. And I did something when I got that book home that I've never done with a book before or after. I sat down and I inhaled it. I read it all in like maybe one sitting. And when I was done, I put the book down, I got up, I made a cup of tea, and I went back to the chair and opened the book and started it again. Don't you love those kind of books? That they hit you that way? And so, the book of Longings, is about a woman named Anna. She's fictitious. She came to Sue said in a dream, and Sue said her story needed to be told. And she was the fictitious wife of Jesus. And Sue said she knew only really one thing about Anna when she started the book. And that is that had she been real, she would have been the most silenced woman in history. Give that some thought. But Anna's dream in the book is to be a writer. She wants to be a writer. And this is a time, remember, this is Jesus' time. Women didn't read, much less write, in those eras. And in the book, however, Anna's father was a scribe, and he did arrange secretly for Anna to learn to read and write. And so she realizes that she needs some way to conceptualize what she most wants in the world to have happen to what she's writing. And I did not know this until I read this book. There is a Middle Eastern practice that's thousands of years old of writing your desire in what is called an incantation bowl. And so when I read that book, I thought, do I have the whatever it would take to write, to clarify and to write my biggest longings in a bowl? And what kind of bowl would I use? So I spent 3 years trying to figure out the answers to those questions. And I chose a bowl. I did get that far. I chose a bowl. I love and collect North Carolina pottery. And the old families from Seagrove, the Cole family, the Owens family, I collect their pottery. And I have a beautiful book, a beautiful bowl by Mr. Owens that I had said, this is the bowl. If I ever get brave enough or bold enough to desecrate this bowl by writing something on the inside of it. I mean, it's a beautiful piece of art. Am I really going to do this? And I spent those 3 years trying to write and articulate what I really wanted to say. What do I really long for? And I can't tell you how many times I rewrote what I really long for. Yeah, because I give up myself, you know. But then in meditation one night, I had my eyes closed. And I'm seeing the words of the bottom. I'm seeing a book in front of me. Down here in the bottom left-hand page, underlined, are the words, when it's time, it's time. I'm thinking, what book is this? What am I doing? So I scroll up in my meditation, and I have Clarissa Pinkola Estes, The Women Who Run with Wolves, open in front of me in my meditation. And it's the story of the Silky Woman. You remember that story? She's made captive by a fisherman, and her seal skin is taken from her. And she has to live on land for 7 years. And finally she says, I gotta go, I gotta figure this out, I gotta go home. And she says, when it's time, it's time. And when I heard that, I knew it was time. So on March 7th, 2023, on a full moon, on the eve of International Women's Day, I knew it was time. So I gathered all my courage and I wrote my deepest heart's desire around the inside of the edge of this bowl, this precious pottery bowl. And it was really, I didn't map it out. I just let my hand do what it was going to do. I just trusted the hand. And the words that I had written on a piece of paper flowed perfectly onto the inside of that bowl. It was wonderful, and I dedicated the bowl, and I did all sorts of ritual with it. And then I put out a newsletter periodically. And so in my next newsletter, I wrote about doing this, but I didn't tell anybody what I'd written. I didn't share what I'd written, because no matter how deep my longing, I was afraid I'd fail. My fear of failing was greater. Now, 3 years later, I don't believe I failed. I do believe that I'm doing what I'm meant to do, and that my greatest longings are coming to be. My writing is being published, and I've got some more stuff in review. I'm teaching about subjects to me that really matter. And I hope that to all of us, that deeper connection that I hope I am working on towards spirit and family and home are all things that matter about what I say and what we all say, and how we work together to protect Mother Earth and all her inhabitants. So let me show it to you. I'm doing show and tell. I brought it with me. It was scary, y'all. I got it wrapped up in a pillowcase. Hold on, I'm getting there. I was so scared to do this. So here it is. Just pottery bowl. And those are how I wrote inside it with a Sharpie. See that? I'm going to tell you what it says. Here's what's in it. May my words be guided by all that is, by fire, air, earth, water, and spirit. May my words honor all life. May my words be read by those who need them and heeded by all who are called to them. When I am gone, may you say that I and my words mattered. Blessed be, and so it is.
Wow. Amen. Beautiful.
Oh, the hard time that was saying it out loud, y'all. Thank you, that was very kind. So, the absolute brilliant Renee Rilke said, "Be patient to all that is unsolved in your heart, and try to live the questions themselves. Do not seek answers that cannot be given to you, because you would not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything. Live the questions now. Perhaps you will then gradually, without noticing, live along some distant day into the answers." So I invite you to live into the questions, to live simply in a place of contemplation and kindness and gratitude and love. I don't succeed, y'all, but I keep trying. I keep trying to live into and have an awareness of the sacred every day, as Sue Bender says. I keep trying to live in that place of emptiness, of that willingness to be filled. I invite you to be empty too, and may it always be so.